What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
And it's been a bad mood around the New Orleans Saints as they get ready to take on a one-win Carolina Panther team. And this game is going to be inside of the Superdome. You should have every advantage in this game. But just with the way the last couple of weeks have played out, I don't know that a lot of Saints fans feel confident. Remember, now this was a long time ago. It was week number 2, but you only beat the Panthers 20-17 the last time that you played them. And so in this contest, who are you going to have available? Now, we'll probably play all three of these, Mario, but let's go ahead. Will you have Derek Carr? Here is Dennis Allen, injured quarterback, Derek Carr, in an update.
He's in the concussion protocol, but he was also being evaluated for, rib injury. We don't have all the results back on that, but the shoulder seemed like it came out fine. So, look, we'll evaluate him as we go throughout the week to see what his availability will be.
All right, so yes, he has other injuries. He has a rib injury. He's had the shoulder, the AC joint all season long. And yes, he's got another concussion. Now, the concussion part to me is the most important here because we're talking about a player that has now had 2 concussions in a short period of time. Here is Dennis Allen talking about him having those concussions, and is there any worry putting him in the game?
Yeah, well, look, I think that's really kind of in the hands of the medical people in terms of where we're at with that. And so I think John Amos does a really good job. He's pretty conservative in those things. So we'll go through the protocol and listen to what the doctors tell us and see where we're at.
Now, this was a question that I had because, full disclosure, I did not know what this process was. Now, when I was playing in the NFL, there wasn't, somebody that kind of buzzed down and said, hey, go get number 22 out of the game. He's got a concussion. That just wasn't part of the process, right? You see a couple of black dots, you pick the one in the middle, you shake it off, and you get back into the game. Now, luckily, they've had the ability to have someone that's independent there to be able to recognize when concussions take place, and Derek Carr has had 2 in, again, a short period of time. We're talking about a 4-week span. And so I wanted to know, and this is Dennis Allen, does the protocol change after multiple concussions?
I don't think the protocol changes. I think that's more, obviously the doctors are, probably a little bit more cautious in those situations.
All right. So my best guess is that you don't have Derek Carr this weekend. So you're going to have Jameis Winston. And you're going to have a version of Taysom Hill play quarterback as well, but you're going to have Jameis Winston be your starting quarterback. And Jameis this year has completed 53% of his passes. He's thrown 3 interceptions to 2 touchdowns. He came in last game, very lucky not to have a pick 6 go the other way, was just off. Now he's going to get all the reps. He's going to be the guy that within this week of practice, he knows he's going to be the starter, I would assume. Derek Carr not being out there would be shocked if Carr plays in this game, and well, they got to get Jameis ready to go. He's got to be the guy. He's got to play better. Here is Dennis Allen talking about Jameis Winston in practice this week.
James, he does some good things. He's been a starter in our league. There's a reason why he's here as our backup, and if Derek's not able to go, then the plan right now would be Jameis will be in there, and we'll put a plan together, gives him an opportunity to have success.
It doesn't matter who plays quarterback for the Saints this week, be it Jameis Winston, Derek Carr if he comes back, if Taysom Hill ends up playing more quarterback than we expected. And it hasn't been great. Derek Carr has not been great. Jameis hasn't been great when he's come in. Taysom Hill is, it's a different style of quarterback. Obviously, you're trying to do some Q runs. You're not going out there and having the full totality of the playbook available. But it doesn't matter. You're playing a 1-win football team. You're playing a team right now that is in a 5-game losing streak. The only game they won, shockingly enough, is against a good team in the Texans. But when you start to look, 33-10 against the Cowboys. They lose to the Titans on the road by a touchdown. They lose on the road to Tampa Bay. they get blown out by the Dolphins earlier in this year. They got blown out by the Lions earlier this year. I mean, it is a team that's fighting. You see fight. They're just not any good. They fired their head coach. There is no reason for you not to have, again, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, whoever, play quarterback, because you don't have a normal backup situation, right? You don't have a guy that we've never heard of. You don't have a guy that was an undrafted free agent rookie. You don't have a guy that was playing in the XFL or the USFL a year ago. No disrespect to those guys. They made a roster. They're, living the dream. They're finding a way to hang on to an NFL career. But you don't have that situation. You've got a former number 1 overall pick. You've got a guy that you signed to a nice backup quarterback deal. I mean, he's kind of getting money that like a low-end starter gets. All right, so that's what you've put on your roster in case this happened. You got to go win. There's not going to be an excuse. If you lose this game and you use Jameis as an excuse, if I hear Dennis Allen come and say anything about that, he should be in the conversation of being in trouble if they lose this game anyways. But I don't want to hear that. ESPN matchup predictor analytics that we use all the time. They give the Saints a 71% chance to win this game. I would even put it higher than that. You got to go win. That's all there is. You've lost 3 games in a row. You lost to Minnesota, you lost to the Falcons, and you lost to Detroit. All right, you lost on the road to Minnesota by 8. You lost on the road to Atlanta by 9. You lost at home to a really good Lions team. I love the fight that you saw from the Saints. And the players haven't quit on you. You can't lose at home to the Carolina Panthers. So there's so many things. Now, I don't believe the Saints will do anything because they've not shown that. But there's so many things that feel like they should be on the line in this game. And I'm talking about the future of people within this organization. You're at home. You're fighting for your playoff life. You're 5-7 in a very bad division. But you know what? You're still tied with Tampa. Atlanta 6-6. You still play Atlanta down the road. You're fighting for your playoff life. If you lose to a 1-11 Carolina Panther team and changes don't happen, something doesn't happen, it makes you think, are they ever going to happen? Are you ever going to get away from holding on to what Sean Payton and Drew Brees and everybody, kind of built there in New Orleans? There is so many things for the Saints that really should be within this one singular game. I don't know that they will be because the Saints have not shown that they'll move on, certainly in a season. But that's embarrassing if you lose this game at home with everything on the line, knowing the team that Carolina is, no head coach, rookie quarterback that's really struggling. You got to go win this game. I mean, it's must win because of the playoff situation, but it's must win if you want to keep your job if I'm in charge of the Saints.
Yeah, jobs can definitely be on the line Sunday. They probably should be. And we're, 12 games into the season. We pretty much know what this team is. The team, like you said, has not given up. Guys do a good job of rallying and being professionals. But I'm certain a big part of the Saints fan base would prefer to them to lose this game, just so that you could rip off the Band-Aid, just so those changes can maybe come. I'm kind of curious to see the mentality of the Who Dat Nation going into this one.
I mean, I'm the same way. All right, so maybe it's because of where I played my professional career. I'm never a fan of other teams taking over your stadium, and certainly not a place that I hold in the highest regard as far as when it's rocking. It's one of the best in the NFL, in the Superdome. And normally I would never say this, but I can understand the frustrations of the fans. I can understand Saints fans watching that product and being disgruntled. I can understand it. And we all know how much money it costs to go into those stadiums. We realize what it takes to take your family to an NFL game. We get that, right? Give them something to cheer about. Because when you do, they're one of the best fan bases in all of the NFL. I'd say one of the best in professional sports, right? But when you continue to do the same things over and over again, and they're not successful, and you showed no willingness to change those things that are not successful, why in the world would I show up and cheer that on, right? Make it look different. Last week was a step in the right direction. And I'm not a moral victory type guy. You lost the game. You got down 21-0 to a damn good football team. and you fought your way back. You scored points in the red zone. I don't care how bad Detroit's been at stopping teams, because at times it looked like you could have played the little Giants and they would have stopped you on the goal line, okay? So the fact that you scored 4 times in the red zone, that's a positive, right? The fact that you showed fight and got back into that game. The defense stepped up, bowed their neck, right, at times to keep you in that game, give you the ability to go score points, all right? You can see it all over Alvin Kamara's body language. He wants it. He wants to win football games. He wants to be successful. And I know he's got to be frustrated. There ain't many lanes to run in behind that Saints offensive line, but he's in it. He's doing everything he possibly can to help his team go be victorious. So give them something to cheer about. Give them something to show up about. Give them something to pack that Superdome and make it one of the best venues in sports again. All right? You have to get that done. This is as must win as any game that you'll have this season.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.